Hello everybody, JenniferMaker here. It's a beautiful day to learn how to fill a shape with words to make a custom design. I'll show you how to plan a simple design in different ways to add beautiful colors to bring your idea to life. I'll then show you how to put your custom word designs on pillows, but you can use yours for shirts, cards, decorations, and so much more. One of the things I love the most about learning how to use tools is the control you can have with them. When you get comfortable with tools, you can add one-of-a-kind designs to anything without compromising on color, style, size, or anything really. So that's why we're learning how to fill shapes with words to make designs to go on these awesome pillows. We're going to make our design using free tools from Cricut Design Space. You can use other software to prepare and print the designs, of course, but I found some of the Cricut Design Space tools very helpful. And since this is a word-based design, the huge selection of different typefaces they have inside Design Space really helps a lot. I'll show you exactly how to prepare a shape to fill, make your list of words, how to position them so the result still looks like your shape, and different ways to add color. Then I'll show you how to prepare and put your custom design on your pillowcase. I'll use Sublimation in this video, but you could also use printable iron-on transfers if you prefer. If you're new to Sublimation and want to learn about it, check out my Sublimation for Beginners guide at JenniferMaker.com/Sublimation for Beginners. It is a great place to start. To make the pillows, I'm using these white polyester pillowcases I've showed you before. They fit a 15-inch square pillow insert so that they look great on a couch or a chair. And this is a nice flat space for adding your own sublimation design. You can try other pillowcases or put your designs on other items, of course. Remember, you don't need a cutting machine for this approach, but you will need a sublimation printer with sublimation ink inside of it and sublimation paper. I'm using 8.5 by 11 inch or letter size paper for this project. Plus, you'll need a heat press and a mat to protect your work surface. I'm using a Cricut Easy Press, but you can use a flat heat press that reaches the temperature you need. Now, heat presses are not all the same, so I have information for different press types in my Sublimation cookbook over at JenniferMaker.com/Sublimation cookbook. I'll also show you why I recommend having pressing pillows on hand in addition to your pressing mat. See the full list of materials and tools for this project at JenniferMaker.com/585 to make sure you have everything else you need to make a fun design, like this heart that you can download for free at the same link. And if you want to make more custom designs like I did on this pillow, stay tuned to the last step for more details. So, are you ready to create a word design with me? Let me show you where to get my free files and then we'll get started. Step 1, get my word shape designs. You can use lots of shapes for inspiration, but it's a good idea to start easy. So I'm going to demonstrate how it works with this heart design, and I encourage you to practice until you feel confident. First, download my designs at JenniferMaker.com/585. You can either download right from that link by saving the project, or download from my entire free design collection. To find it, look for Libraries in the red bar at the top, and then click either Get a Password if you don't yet have one, or Enter the library. Search the page for design number 585 and click the link to download the designs. I found it easiest to prepare and print my design using Cricut Design Space. Something to note is that while there are online programs that will put your words into a shape for you, like ShapeCloud, they are limited. You won't have as much control of the results, and they have different rules about how you can use the finished designs. So I want to teach this way that is accessible to everyone and reliable to use. In the download folder, there are heart cut files in the SVG and DXF folders. There are also some pre-made designs in the PNG and PDF folders, like a butterfly with a watercolor gradient, another butterfly with a solid rainbow gradient, and a heart with a watercolor gradient. Use these done-for-you designs as inspiration or just as shortcuts. If you want to use one of these designs, just add it to your canvas as a complex print then cut image, resize it to fit your project, and print. But I really want to show you how to fill a shape with your own words, so I'll show you how to use the heart in the SVG folder to create similar designs in Cricut Design Space. If you're not sure how to upload, go to JenniferMaker.com/SVGS to learn how to unzip and upload files to Cricut Design Space. Step 2. Prepare and print your designs. Before you start designing, you need to know how much space you have to use. Packaging on whatever you're going to use probably has the dimensions, but it's always good to check. So smooth out your pillowcase and measure the height and width of the area that you can sublimate. I'll put my design right in the middle. You'll also want to keep in mind your paper size and other constraints, like Cricut's print then cut area, but this is a good place to start. Over in Cricut Design Space, click Upload. Select Upload Image and then browse to find the shape SVG you want to use. You can use this technique on other shapes, but pick something with a recognizable silhouette and enough uninterrupted space to fit words at a legible size. Click Upload. On the next screen, select your image and click Add to Canvas. Here's the start of our word design. Remember, we're going to use the print half of the print then cut feature in Cricut Design Space, which will work well for this, but it does have size limitations. Let's make sure the heart will fit by clicking the operation menu at the top of the screen and changing it to print then cut. That looks okay, but you can also change the design's dimensions using the size fields. Make sure the lock icon at the top of the window next to size is closed, because that means you can change either the W field for width or the H field for height, and the other dimension will be automatically adjusted proportionately. Then type the new width or height you want in the matching field and press Enter. If there is a red icon in the Layers panel, it means the design is larger than the paper will allow. Click it and check that the size mentioned matches your material. If it doesn't, click Change Paper Size and adjust it. I'm using 8.5 by 11-inch paper. If the icon is still there, click it and select Auto Resize Image to automatically set your image to the largest dimensions available. About 8.5 inches wide is the maximum for print then cut on this design and will look good on the pillowcase. Once the heart is the correct size, click the operation menu and select Guide to make it a see-through shape that isn't part of the final design. Now we're ready to add our words, but that will be much easier with a plan. Think about the theme of your design and come up with the main word that comes to mind. When I see a heart, I think of love. So click the text icon to make a text box appear. Most words will fill space more evenly if you use all caps, but it depends on the typeface and the look you want. Type the first word and then open the font menu. There are some really nice options available, which you can see by clicking the filters icon and checking the box for free. I also checked the box for current because that means the letters are nicely spaced out already. You can play with different styles, but I like the letters to be on the thicker side so that they fill the shape more evenly. Click a few options to see how your word looks. You can also use a typeface that you've downloaded and installed on your computer by clicking System and searching for it, like I'm doing right now to find JM Suite. JM Suite is a free font that I designed that has nice even letters and is easy to read at different sizes. But the letters are still thick enough to show different colors and patterns, which we'll cover once the design is laid out. You can download JM Suite and other free fonts at JenniferMaker.com/542. Plus, learn how to use them in Cricut Design Space. When you have a font you like, close the menu pop-up and drag the word to the side. Don't worry about the size yet. We want to start with a list of words with the same typeface, so click Duplicate and make a new text box with the same settings. Double-click it to activate editing mode, then type the next word that comes to mind. A mix of word lengths makes filling spaces easier, so let's add the word cherish. Move that to your list and then make another text box. You definitely want a few short words so you have options to fit small spaces, like the word kind. Keep going until you have all of your words in a list. Take a minute to make sure everything is spelled correctly, of course. Now select the longest word, or the word that you want to be the most prominent, and click Duplicate. Then drag the copy over the shape's biggest open area. I'll put love right in the middle. See the corner squares on the bounding box here? You can adjust the word size visually with those. With the lock icon at the top of the screen closed, drag a corner in to make the word smaller, or drag it out to make it as large as you want. Duplicate another word and place it in the shape. Leave white space between it, the first word, and the edge. When you're designing, nothing is perfect right away, so don't stress. We're just getting started. Keep duplicating words from your original list and roughly positioning them inside the guide's edges. I like to have a copy of each word on the larger side so I can read the full list, but you can mix it up, of course. I still have some big white spaces, but at this point I like to pick an area between an edge and a word and fill in using more copies. You can adjust each word's dimensions as you go to fill in spaces, and move the existing text as needed to create the look you want. I like to zoom in with the plus icon to see the details and out with the minus icon for the overall progress. Now at some point the words will start running into each other when you're filling white space. Since we're trying to fill the shape, that's basically what we want, but don't let the words overlap or they'll be hard to read. Opening the lock icon to adjust a word's height and width independently can make it easier, or try a different word in that spot. Try to position your words to match the shape's outline as much as possible, but you can fine-tune the design once you have more words in place. And chances are good you'll accidentally select and move the wrong word or shape at some point, and that's okay. Just click the arrow pointing to the left to undo your last action until your design looks like it did before the mistake. To change a word's orientation, move your cursor near a corner of the bounding box until the curved arrow appears. That's the rotate tool. Click and drag counterclockwise to rotate the word until the graphic right above it reads 270 degrees, or clockwise until it says 90 degrees, to face the other way. Then use your arrow keys to move it or the size fields to resize the word instead of relying on your cursor. It can also be difficult to select the correct word when they get very small and close together, so be patient. Zooming in can give you more control, or try clicking through the layers with the matching word in the Layers panel until a bounding box shows around the troublemaker. Once one section is filled, move to the next open area and fill from that edge to a positioned word using the same techniques. Remember to vary your words and sizes to keep the design interesting. Take your time and keep filling in the entire guide with your words. You may need to adjust some sections you thought were finished where the areas meet, and that's okay. Experimenting is all part of the learning process. You'll be very comfortable with positioning and resizing things on your canvas after all this practice. Once you like how the words look, zoom out to see the entire design and its edges. You want the shape to still be recognizable just using the words, so click the eye icon in the guide layer to hide it. If the edges don't look right, like if a curve looks too straight or there's a bump, click the eye icon again to show the shape. Then adjust the text in the problem area and keep checking until you're happy. When everything looks correct, click the eye icon for the guide layer to hide it if it's still visible, because it can confuse some of the coloring options I'll show you. Delete the original list of words. Your word design is almost ready, but you must pick a color fill option before the final steps. I'll show you 3 options, but you can use these basic steps in many different ways. Option number 1, a single color. If you want to make your design all one color, click Select All in the top menu. To change everything at once, we need all these words to be together instead of totally separate layers. And there are 5 functions that I know people find confusing: group, attach, flatten, weld, and unite. Now, weld and unite are more for cutting projects, but should we use group, attach, or flatten to make this design? Let's see. If we click the group icon with 2 little squares, all the words will stay together and we can move them as one item on the canvas. But group is like a paperclip for your screen only. It will not keep items together when you click Make. That's not a heart, so that's not what we want, and I'll undo it. Okay, select all again, and then click Attach this time to see how that goes. I can still move them all together, and now when I click Make, they stay in the right spots on our map preview. And if we go back to the canvas, I can click a specific word in the Layers panel and move just that, which is helpful if you find a mistake late. So Attach is the answer for this project. We'll look at Flatten in the next option. Use the Operation menu to select Print Then Cut and make all the words into a single printable layer. All right, so now click the color box next to the Operation menu and select the color you want. I'll pick red. Option number 2, multiple colors. But what if you want to use more than one color? First, decide how many colors you want to use. That's how many sections you'll need to divide your design into. I'll use 3 colors, red, orange, and yellow. So I'll use a third of the design for each color. To do this, click and drag your cursor over the top third of the design. If there are words selected that you want to make a different color, hold your Command key on the Mac or the Control key on Windows and select the layer in the Layers panel that you want to remove from the selection. Or if there is a word you want to add, hold down your Shift key and click it in the Layers panel to add it to the selection. Then click the color box and select the first color you want to use. I'll use red. Use the same process to select the next third of the design, making sure you don't have any red words selected, and then change them to the middle color. My middle color is orange. And then select the rest of the words and make them the lighter color. I'll use a golden yellow. But if we select the entire design and click Attach, you'll note that everything turns back to one color, which won't work right. So let's undo that and try the last function I mentioned, Flatten. Now when you flatten, the colors remain intact and the design automatically turns it into a Print Then Cut operation. Option number 3, Pattern Fill. Cricut Design Space also has some really pretty patterns that you can fill your designs with. Again, start by clicking Select All and attaching the words, and then change the operation to Print Then Cut. Click the color box next to Operation, and under Print Type, select Pattern. Use Filter and pick a color to explore different pattern options. Select a pattern you like and click off the design so it can render. Now to adjust the pattern, click the design again and then click the color box and select Edit Pattern. You can use these tools to adjust the pattern and see the new results in the preview. Scale increases or decreases the size of the pattern on the shape. You can zoom in and out using the slider. Horizontal or vertical moves the pattern side to side or up and down. Rotate rotates the pattern on the design, and the left flip icon flips the pattern horizontally, while the right icon flips it vertically. Edit the pattern until you like the result, and then close the pop-up to see the final result. For any color option. Once you've picked a color style and finished your design, click Save and give your project a name if you haven't already. Your design is now ready for printing. Make sure the correct machine is selected, then click Make. On the Prepare screen, make sure your material size is set to 8.5 by 11-inch letter if you're using the same size paper as I am. Click Mirror since we'll apply the design face down and use heat to transfer it. You want to be able to read the words after all this work. Then click Continue. On the Make screen, click Send to Printer. Select your Sublimation printer from the Printer drop-down to show the associated settings that you can control. Yours may look different depending on your operating system, but this recording from my Mac is still a helpful reference. The Add Bleed option adds a little extra ink that matches your design all around its edge as a buffer so there isn't any white space between the design and the cut edge. But since we're not using a Cricut to cut anything, that extra ink would actually make the words look funny and run together. So do not turn on Add Bleed. But you do want to use System Dialog for more control of your printer settings, so be sure to toggle that on. Click Print, and then minimize the Cricut Design Space window to find the Print dialog box. It usually is behind it. The dialog box should have the correct printer selected, but double check. Your settings may look different than mine, but what you want to do is set the media or paper to an option like Premium Photo Matte and the quality to Best or Highest. We've already mirrored the design, so keep any options like Flip Horizontally unchecked or you'll undo the mirroring. And make sure your sublimation paper is loaded correctly in your printer. There should be notes on the packaging and printer to help, and then click Print. Let the print sit to dry so you don't smudge the ink. Now for a normal print then cut project, we put the printed image on a machine mat and use the Cricut to cut out the words. But we want them to stay together on the white background for sublimation, so you don't need Cricut Design Space any longer. Instead, after the print is dry, cut a square around the design. Make sure to trim away the black registration marks or those will go on your pillow. And roughly knowing the design's middle point can help us center it on the pillow. To do this, fold the left edge to the right edge so the design's widest section matches up, and crease just on the white paper at the top and bottom edges to mark the middle. Don't crease the ink or the transfer could be damaged. And then fold the bottom edge to the top and crease the sides to find the middle. Sometimes a blunt cut edge can leave an indent in the fabric after pressing, so tearing, which is also called feathering, the paper makes it more gradual. Just don't get too close to the ink because you might, tear into it. Step 3, prepare and sublimate your pillow. Remember, always open a window or turn on a fan before sublimating to help improve your ventilation. Now set your heat press to the correct temperature and time. According to my sublimation cookbook, the easy press needs to be set at 385 degrees Fahrenheit or 196 degrees Celsius for 60 seconds for a polyester pillowcase. Place your pressing mat on the pressing area and put the pillowcase face up on the protected pressing mat. Lint roll the design area to remove any dust or debris. The ink will dye any polymers it touches and you don't want to sublimate lint. Fold the bottom edge up to match the top, which creates a horizontal line at the center point. If your press is larger than the pillowcase, make sure the zipper, especially the zipper head, is out of the pressing area because it could get damaged. Put fresh white butcher paper on top of the pillowcase to protect it from direct heat, and then lightly press the crease and design area for 10 seconds. This removes excess moisture, smooths wrinkles, and creates the horizontal crease. Unfold the pillowcase to show the horizontal crease, and then repeat the process using the other edges to add a vertical crease. They'll intersect in the middle. Now position the pillowcase on the pressing mat face up with the zippered edge closest to you. Now remember, I recommended having a pressing pad and a pressing pillow. If you only have a pressing pad, put clean white cardstock inside the pillowcase to protect the back layer from excess ink. Then move the zippered edge down and off the pressing pad's edge so the rest of the pillowcase is flat and you can press the design without any issue. But if you have a pressing pillow that will fit inside the case and is larger than your design, it really helps. You can set the bottom pressing pad aside and just put the pressing pillow inside the pillowcase under the design area to lift the fabric away from the edges and zipper. Add white cardstock inside the pillowcase on top of the pressing pillow to protect it and the back layer from excess ink. See, now there's no way the heat press will touch the zipper edge. Place the design face down on the pillowcase so the image is correctly oriented for the opening at the bottom. This way the zipper will be harder to see when your pillow is done. Align the paper's creases with those on the pillowcase to center it. Secure the design in place with heat-resistant tape, and then place uncoated white butcher paper on top of the pillowcase and the sublimation paper. Now press the design with light pressure for 60 seconds at the correct temperature. When the time is up, lift the press straight up and return it to its base. After pressing, let the design sit for about 10 seconds so the dye settles on the fibers and won't smudge. This smudging or blurring is called ghosting in sublimation. Now remove the butcher paper, tape, and transfer sheet to reveal the sublimated design. And then put the pillow form inside and zip the pillowcase closed to enjoy your new custom decor. Step 4, show it off. And here is how my sublimation pillow came out. Isn't this cool? Step 5, customize it. If you love the idea of these word shapes, but want to have even more control over your design or work with more complex shapes, I can show you how. I have some more fun shapes to try, and I can show you how to fill them with words in different orientations through a special program called JenniferMaker Advance. The Advanced program helps you advance your crafting skills by teaching you how to truly make these popular designs unique and special just for you through tutorials and templates, as well as give you advanced access to my vast library of designs, projects, and resources. I may or may not be accepting new members into the Advanced program at the time you see this video, but if you're interested, go to jennifermaker.com/advance to learn more. And there you have a completely custom pillow with your own words. Now that you know how to make this type of design, you can decorate lots of different items. There are some online tools that you can use to make similar designs faster, but you won't have as much control of the results, and they have different rules about how you can use the finished designs. So I much prefer making them in Cricut Design Space. Just remember to be patient while you're learning how to do it. Now, caring for these pillows is easy because the sublimation ink dyes the fibers instead of just sitting on top of them like heat transfer vinyl would. Just wait at least a day so everything is set, and then wash it with cold or warm water and mild detergent. Then hang it to dry or tumble it on low heat. Put the right size pillow inside, zip it shut, and you are all set. And more templates for different shapes and instructions on how to fill them with different orientations of the words are all available over at jennifermaker.com/advance. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.